Oilers open up a 6-game homestand at Rogers Place on a frosty, crystal clear night in Edmonton, and they'll do it against the LA Kings. Oilers 16-6, LA just one win in its last 8 games, looking to get off the schneid tonight with Jonathan Quick in net as we get a look at our starting goaltenders, brought to you by Tim Hortons, the official coffee of the National Hockey League. Quick started his career 19-1-5 against the Oilers, but he has just 4 wins in his last 12 starts against Edmonton. Meanwhile, the Oilers go back to Mikko Koskinen, who got the night off in Edmonton's 4-3 loss to Seattle on Friday. Koskinen, 12-2 on the year. He's won 3 in a row, playing to a save percentage of nearly .930 in the process. Nugent Hopkins, who just came off a game where he got his 500th point, but it was a defeat. He'll center Hyman and Yamamoto, and we're underway with Philip Deneau winning the opening draw for the Los Angeles Kings. Defensively, Darnell Nurse returns after a 6-game absence due to a broken pinky. He's playing with Evan Bouchard. Battling for a win as Iafallo in on Nurse. Quick one-timer to save Koskinen on Victor Arvidsson, a one-time 30-goal man with Nashville. So Koskinen with a good early stop as the Kings pour in right off the hop. Flipped by Bouchard back to center as we get a look at your starting lineup. Nurse tying up Arvidsson. It's brought to you by Scotiabank, believing there's a place for all Canadians in Canada's game. Nurse plays 26 minutes a night. That's 4th in the league. And Dave Tippett ecstatic to have him back in the lineup tonight, Luke.
Yeah, no question. When you get your #1 defenseman back that plays that many minutes in all situations, just a good addition back to the lineup. And listen, that's where they've been decimated as of late with 4 regulars out. Some young guys have stepped in, done a real nice job in the absence of the key defenseman. And Darnell Nurse happy to be back tonight.
Niemelainen defending. He is still in the lineup. Laguson's the odd man out tonight on defense. Meanwhile, Tyler Benson returns at the expense of Brendan Perlini up front for Edmonton. Held in briefly by Mikey Anderson of the LA Kings, coming off a 3-2 loss to Calgary on home ice on Thursday. Here's McDavid weaving his way in. They loaded up with McDavid, Draisaitl, and Puljujarvi off the hop of the 6'5" Niemelainen. Kind of lost that puck in his feet, regained, swings it over to the veteran Tyson Barrie. Never a bad option. He'll bang it in, will Tyson Barrie. Recovered, Tobias Bjornfoot. Dishing off to Trevor Moore. Up through center. Battled for. Ultimately pulled free by Chris Russell. Under duress, taken away by Moore. Hard net drive, quickly tipped in. And it's Rasmus Kupari giving LA a 1-0 lead 2 minutes into the hockey game.
Well, you know, Jack, we've talked about this as of late for Edmonton, and the starts for them have been a little bit of an issue. And the Los Angeles Kings have come out in this game. Arvidsson rings the bar early on the first shift. And a great opportunity by him, but this one here just created off of some hard work on the wall, and you're going to see Moore just kind of step in, take that position, and he floats this one across. And just a beautiful pass. Kupari is able to knock this one down, one-hopper up over top of the left shoulder of Koskinen for a 1-0 lead, but that's 2 grade A's early in the game for the Los Angeles Kings, 3 shots to 0 for Edmonton.
Oilers gave up 49 seconds into their eventual loss to Seattle on Friday. 2:01 the time of this goal. Kupari from Moore. And it's punched in immediately by Arthur Kaliyev, who settles, kicks it back to the point. A shot redirected and skipped into the waiting arms of Koskinen.
Well, you know, you look at Kupari, a Finnish player, coming and had a nice long conversation with his countryman Mikko Koskinen and saying, listen, I'm going to put one by you tonight. And Mikko says, no, you're not. Gives him a little tap. That's kind of how those conversations go. Happy to see you, but maybe not that happy to see him right here with a beautiful little one-hop chip up over top of Koskinen's left shoulder for a 1-0 lead for Edmonton. Always nice to see guys talking on the ice, you know, having a little conversation, but once the puck drops, it's business, and LA strikes first in this one.
Kupari won a gold medal for his country at the World Juniors back in 2019. Rifled in from center by Matt Roy, and Koskinen will leave it for Evan Bouchard. Not much Koskinen could do. Once that puck gets through, it's a virtual tap-in as long as you elevate it. Driven in by Bouchard, knocked down by Alex Edler. First year in LA after a decade and a half in Vancouver. Edler tried to one-hand it out of the zone, stolen away by Kyler Yamamoto. Roy springs over to pick up the puck. Arvidsson with a clear to Iafallo. Backhand chip, Philip Deneau driving his way in, and a shot repelled by Mikko Koskinen. Deneau signed a big ticket in the offseason after several productive years in Montreal. Often kind of labeled as a miscast frontline center, but definitely a top 6 player, and Nugent Hopkins starts the rush the other way for Edmonton. Cut off by Anderson of LA. And now it's Dustin Brown in his 18th year. Kopitar misses Kempe. To the point, Drew Doughty. Kopitar. Kempe whiffs on a wrist shot, and it's taken away by Zach Hyman. Pulls away from Kopitar, dances around a hit, and it's carved in by Puljujarvi.
Couple of great opportunities once again for the Los Angeles Kings. Adrian Kempe had 2 chances there. Once on the one-timer on the entry, and a second one, he walked right down Main Street, just fanned on that opportunity to get it away.
Don't look now, but the shots are 5-zip through 4 minutes. Edmonton, another slow start. The Oilers have only scored first in 9 of their 23 games. McDavid breaks in, trying to change the complexion of this game, at least early on. Taken away by Kapari, and then he put it right on the stick of Draisaitl in front. And a midair whack by Puljujarvi. Misfires. McDavid in front, just missed Draisaitl. Another chance for a clear, and Elias Anderson barely got it done. He kind of half-fanned on it, but still has to be recovered by Barry. Trying to defend Bjornfot. Taken away. McDavid. Senior had it chopped off his stick by TJ Tynan. Philip Broberg works it along the boards. Draisaitl, the league's leading scorer, to the number 2 man, McDavid. Cuts to the middle. And it rolls into the midst of Jonathan Quick.
This period brought to you by James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers. Accidents happen. JamesHBrown.com.
Darnell Nurse showing his presence felt early on. Great backtracking here and a good stick to deny Deneau. A real clean effort on Koskinen. And then here's that little bobble. One-time opportunity, just missed into the skates of Kempe, and then he walked that one around and came right down Main Street to look for another chance and just fanned on it. And that time, top line of the Kings have a little difficulty as of late producing, but you know, with the likes of Kopitar Brown, who have played together for years, always dangerous when they're on the ice.
Holden Senior continues to work his way up the lineup, centers for Foegele, and he nudged it wide. May have been deflected. Senior, healthy scratch early on this season, but now he's up on the 3rd line. And he can play a little center too, working with Ryan and Foegele. Losing his headgear was TJ Tynan, quite a salad. Recovered by Grundstrom and cleared by the Kings through the middle of the ice.
Yeah, a real simplified attack for Colton Seager. He just goes out, you know, every single shift is going to be about effort, straight line, stops and starts. And because of that, he wins a lot of battles. He's in that fight, opens up space for his teammates.
Foegele jammed it in, curled out by Arvidsson, and now Jersey right on the tape. Drop pass Arvidsson, rebound off the crossbar.
Second post for Arvidsson.
Rebound in front, Arvidsson buzzing, but here he turns it over. And brought the other way by Ryan McLeod. Can he fly? Forced out wide, tried a shot. Roy deflected it to the corner, taken away. Again, Arvidsson quick on the puck against Zach Kassian. Batted down by Nurse in the neutral zone, recovered by Kassian. And he'll send a soft chip into the corner. McLeod curled it back in front. Kassian late getting there. Arvidsson will pick it off and eventually be able to muscle it up the right-hand side and out of the zone. Tyler Benson rink wide to Bouchard, and Edmonton on the reset. Early on, pretty good pace here at Rogers Place. Edmonton's starting to match LA a little bit.
Yeah, starting to get their feet going.
Brown to Kopitar, out of necessity. Shot Kopitar, save Koskinen. Because as you mentioned, LA's within an eyelash or two of being up 3 goals. Kopitar with control. Taken away, Nugent Hopkins did not get it out. Anderson to Doughty, and now Kempe. Double team, coughs it up. Knee the line and looks up ice. Flips it, but not much on it. Taken away by Kempe. Emelainen stepped up on him, and it's tracked down eventually by Kempe. Dustin Brown, wrist shot. Just getting the blocker down in time was Mikko Koskinen. Rebound collected by Zach Hyman as we come up on 7 minutes gone by. First period. 1-0 Los Angeles. The goal belonging to Rasmus Kapari. Here's Hyman. Dangling. Punched off the stick to Nurse. A shot, and that's smothered by Jonathan Quick. 1-0 Los Angeles. Darnell Nurse back for Edmonton. but it's Kapari celebrating at Rogers.
Fine words for Victor Arvidsson, who's back for 7 games, has 6 points in those games, starting to heat up. And early on in this one, Jackie rings the bar early on. That one hits the post in tight, and down the left-hand side, goes to that far glove side again and rings it off the crossbar. And providing speed and skill and tenacity on that second line with Danault and Iafallo for the Los Angeles Kings. For Todd McClellan right now, he says, I like that line, I'm not changing it.
I wonder how many people in the NHL know that in a 3-year sequence, Arvidsson scored 94 goals. You've got to be more than a casual fan to know that. He is an underrated player. McDavid off the dry, subtly in front. Puljujarvi a shot, and that was tipped over the crossbar and eventually cleared ahead for Adrian Kempe. Arvidsson's cooled off the last couple of years, needed a fresh start in LA, and has been around it already. Crashing in Dustin Brown. Kopitar, quick shot off the chest of Koskinen, and the rebound taken by Darnell Nurse. Pass into the skates of McDavid, and now Kopitar will just leave it for Anderson. Kempe building speed through the neutral zone. Pestered by Draisaitl, threw it on net. Koskinen guides to the corner for Sevier, and now up with it is Derek Ryan for Edmonton, who trails 1-0 in this hockey game. Shots 9-2 in favor of the Kings in the early going. Slashed free and cleared by Kapari up for Elias Anderson. His shot caught and held cleanly by Koskinen.
Providing competitive odds on all sports, Sports Interaction is Canada's odds maker.
18-year vet Dustin Brown always plays a hard game and gets into it a little bit here with Darnell Nurse, who excellently plays this chip in, just putting his body in the right spot, and that little spin around with the left hand of Brown. I'm sure those two will be seeing a little bit more of each other in this one.
Dustin Brown, the Ithaca, New York native. Shot caught this time off the tape of Sean Durzi.
Real shooting mentality early on for the Los Angeles Kings. That's the 11th shot they've thrown at Koskinen that's hit him, and one's gotten by him, obviously, but they've had some more that have missed the net, and that's just the mentality coming out early, trying to pounce on Edmonton. It's worked with the 1 goal, 2 bars already by Arvidsson, and a couple good chances by Anze Kopitar as well. Koskinen's had to fight off those checks, and for Kaliev, this guy can shoot the puck too. He's a youngster that Todd McClellan said he'd like to see him shoot that puck a little bit more because it's a wicked release.
Put up 30, 40, and 50 goal seasons in the Ontario League, and then scored in his NHL debut. Blister down the middle, and that's going to be an icing call against Ryan McLeod and the Edmonton Oilers.
And you know, Jack, for the Edmonton Oilers coming into this game, you've got a team that hasn't won but 1 game in their last 7. And you don't want to give them too much life early on. They've come out, they've been able to funnel pucks to the net for Dave Tippett. He's talked about that, just keeping a team to the outside and trying to provide a little bit of offensive zone time yourself, and you have to just get after those pucks, win those battles, and keep it alive to sustain that pressure. It hasn't happened yet. It's been kind of one and done for Edmonton. Only 2 shots on net, almost halfway through the first.
Benson will bang it in. Tracked by Bjornfoot. He was drilled by Benson. Continues to be as physical as possible, trying to create the impact on the 4th line that Dave Tippett's looking for.
And he had a good hit on Arvidsson earlier on and really finished him off on the backtrack, and that's exactly right. For Tyler Benson, he's had to kind of change his game a bit. Being a 4th liner, he's always been an offensive player, and I credit him for that. That's not an easy thing to do. It's a different mentality going into the game, but there's no question he's buzzing each and every shift he has, and he's looking to finish and provide that energy.
Tipping and charging Hyman, pressuring Matt Roy. Loose in the corner. Not a lot of size on the LA defense. Much different from certainly their Cup golden years. Arvidsson tried to peel it out of there. Yamamoto absorbed a hip check, shook it off, popped right back up against the hard-working Philip Danault. Puck stapled along the kick plate. That's the yellow strip just beneath the dasher boards. Finally extracted. Nugent Hopkins now hog-tied by Alex Edler. 4-player scrum. Hovering, trying to rake it free was Hyman, but Roy dug it loose, carved out of there, then knocked down by Nugent Hopkins. Aggressive, hard-working shift to the second line for Edmonton. Now Barry from Niemelainen, tried a shot, tipped in front, and then just an absolute dog pile in front as Edler wrestled Hyman down. Crowd wanted a penalty. Beautiful feed. Nugent-Hopkins. Yamamoto flipped down low. Nugent-Hopkins on the retrieval against Danault. Excellent work by this line. Will it pay off? Niemelainen cross to Barrie. Loading up. And then he'll work it down low for Nugent-Hopkins. Often fatigue sets in and you can draw a penalty in this kind of scenario. Trying to disrupt the cycle with a big chop by Afalo. Did not get it out. Same applied by Danault, and this time the hard rim does work. McDavid back on the ice trying to catch LA in a change. A stick goes flying down the ring, and that belonged to Arvidsson, so he'll wisely get off. Draisaitl let it poke checked off his stick, and that was well played by LA. Here's Kopitar, harassed and has it stolen by Draisaitl, then took it right back, and Mikey Anderson will kick it to Drew Doughty. And the Kings eventually look to knife it in. Dustin Brown not happy with the linesman. That attempt hit his skate. Anderson will push back, and at center it's Kempe. Back to Brown, gaining the line. Poke checked away by Darnell Nurse, continuing to frustrate Brown, who has 11 goals in his last 13 against Edmonton, as these two teams lock up for the first time since February of 20. Doughty. Edmonton has won 5 in a row on home ice against Los Angeles, 8 of 9. Kopitar will knock it in. Nurse after it. Moore took it from centers, and Anderson just absolutely fanned on it. And he has been snake bit throughout his NHL career, trying to get going. A one-time 7th overall pick.
Yeah, that was a great chance for him, as you mentioned, the pick by the Rangers, 7th overall, and has a nose for where to go around the net. Right there, he was in the right spot, tried to finish that quick succession, and just rolled off the tip of his blade.
Yeah, just absolutely a misfire after a gorgeous setup. Philip Broberg. And there's another kind of bullet dodge by Edmonton in the early going. They're getting outplayed. LA backing up as the Oilers trying to build off that last shift from Nugent-Hopkins, but a turnover by Broberg. And here come the Kings once again. Brunstrom and Kapari taken down, and breaking free is Chris Russell for Edmonton. He'll lead the rush with a wrist shot bobbled by Quick, swatted out of midair, and ends up behind the net on Jersey's stick, playing his 5th NHL game. Bjornfoot did not get it out. LA a young defense, as well as not particularly oversized. Here's Kaliyev, over to Bjornfoot, work back through center, and McLeod kicks it to Niemelainen. Barrie advanced to Benson. Feet ahead, kept alive by McLeod and his long reach. He seems to be having his feet moving in the early going. Zach Kassian in the corner. Checked by TJ Tynan. McLeod let it go through. Here's Barrie, a wind-up and a blocked shot for Grundstrom. Niemelainen wires it back in for Edmonton. Controlled by Quick, and he'll shovel it up the boards. Now in his 14th year, Jonathan Quick, 2-time Cup winner. Gaining the line, Philip Danault. Wrist shot save made by Koskinen. He's got 11 stops already in this first period. Zach Kassian, bothered by Iafallo, setting a screen for Tyson Barrie, and he'll launch one up through the middle. Handled by Hyman as we come up on 6:20 to play in this first period. 1-0 lead for LA on a goal by Rasmus Kapari. Kings a line change. Bouchard quarterbacking to Nugent-Hopkins. Golfs it in. Doughty under pressure, makes the play up the wall. Cleared but not out. Bouchard down low, turning, spinning. But Nugent-Hopkins pass off the mark. And it's Brown. Ahead to the activating Mikey Anderson. Drop pass, Kempe. Trying to center, tipped. And Koskinen never saw a shot come his way. Here's Kopitar trying to hold it in. Unsuccessful in that endeavor as Nurse will throw it rink wide. Anderson tucked it away from Yamamoto as Edmonton changing.
That was a good backtrack by Yamamoto. He got right in on Dustin Brown, got the body positioning on him, and Brown didn't like it too much, roughed him up afterwards, but for the LA Kings, really attacking off the transitional game and finding some opportunities with wingers driving to the net.
Been a frenetic pace in this one so far. LA has been relentless. Darnell Nurse will shoot it in. And have a whistle in 6 minutes as Draisaitl burrows his way in right side. McDavid briefly knocked off balance, and it's flipped safely back to center. And it's been Draisaitl and McDavid, and this could be on Dave Tippett's mind. 22 points combined in their last 5 games against LA. Thus far, a slow start. Nurse off the stick of Draisaitl. Bjornfoot looks to guide up, and it's chopped out by Elias Anderson. Recovered by Broberg, who threw it off his own net. And that was a margin for error he was not looking for. Trevor Moore nudged it to the middle, taken away. McDavid, the Edmonton captain, got it outside, I thought. Nothing called, and now Chris Russell maybe whistled for an icing. McDavid was dumped, and there's a late interference call coming against Alex Edler. Alex Edler tripping up Connor McDavid. Edmonton on the power play.
This little play right here is you're going to see Moore aggressively on the forecheck with the steal right out to Anderson, who just fans on a grade A chance. The LA Kings have come with aggression and speed. Iafallo chokes down to make sure he picks up this pass. Dano on the fly uses that screen as a little bit of a shot through. And then Kyler Yamamoto with a nice job here gets right in on Dustin Brown, takes him out. Brown roughs him up afterwards. And Edmonton with the first power play of this game on the penalty taken on Connor McDavid. To generate some time in this zone.
Draisaitl wins the face-off. Barry from Nugent Hopkins over to McDavid. Head front presence is Hyman. Draisaitl on the hash marks, a one-timer denied by Jonathan Quick, and that was 2012 vintage.
Hot and fresh pizzas, wings, and all the game day cravings delivered right to your door by Pizza 73. Score a great deal at pizza73.com.
You know it's always a great save when the player that takes the shot and gets denied takes a long look and says, "Are you kidding?" This is a great little setup play right here, and look at that. Draisaitl kind of stares him down afterwards. Jonathan Quick flashes the glove.
League leader with 21 goals, 11 of which on the power play. Also tops in the NHL. Here's Nugent Hopkins. Hyman rolled it wide on Jonathan Quick, and this not a good matchup theoretically for LA. 27th in the league in penalty killing. McDavid off to Draisaitl. 74% for the Kings on the kill, 35% for the Oilers on the power play. Barry. McDavid steps up on Doughty. Button hooks back. Dishes. Nugent Hopkins. One-timer Draisaitl, and that was blasted off glass and out of play. The face-off will remain in the zone. That's a break for Edmonton because it doesn't careen around all the way down.
That would have been hard one to handle. As you know, Draisaitl's obviously going high, trying to get Quick coming across the grain on the blocker side under the bar as he slaps this one through and just gets a little too aggressively away. Up off the glass, catches the mesh, and the face-off will come to the left of Jonathan Quick.
Draisaitl digging in on Anze Kopitar. Quick bearing down for a face-off to his left. This year, Quick has played to a save percentage of .924. And he's a guy who can be as hot as any goalie in the league. Has not been the last 2 years. Nurse to McDavid. Wrist shot save. Quick. Trickles just wide. Draisaitl. Back to Nurse. McDavid. Draisaitl. Nurse. Draisaitl. Centering pass, tip Nugent Hopkins, splayed out, and look at the flexibility from Jonathan Quick to keep it out against Puljujarvi.
You know, you bring up a good point. I don't know if he doesn't have that flexibility to be able to make that splits-like save that he would make this save. This is a great little shot redirection right there, looking for Nugent Hopkins in front, and that puck sat up for a second right in front of the pad of Quick. Because he was able to keep it down flat to the ice, it goes up off of Puljujarvi into Quick. He has to stretch back with the left pad and stuff it on the doorstep.
How long are you in traction if you're in that position at any point?
Never walking again. Yeah, forget about that.
Drilled up the right-hand side, off the draw for LA. Edmonton still a half minute with which to work on the power play. McDavid hits Draisaitl. Checked by Anderson, shrugs him off, kicks it back to the point. Well handled by Nurse to maintain the zone. Draisaitl forked it to Puljujarvi. Up top, Nugent Hopkins takes a pass from Nurse. Doughty, quick check behind him. Now dealing with Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl. One-timer McDavid, and that was club high as well. So both Draisaitl and McDavid getting a little too much air under the one-timer, and they'll come off.
So that was labeled short side by McDavid. Draisaitl went far side. McDavid tried to go glove hand side on Quick. He ripped that one.
3 shots on the power play for Edmonton, driven in deep. Coming up on 2 to go in this first period. Oilers still in search of the equalizer. Cassian backs off. Spun it over to Fogle. Inside shot Cassian, that was blocked. Now he'll drop it Broberg. Cross ice. Fogle. Carved off his stick. And then eventually chiseled as far as center by Moore. Little drag move by Bouchard. Enters the zone. Pestered by Moore. Shot Fogle. Handcuffed quick, but he makes the save. Oilers on a cold night, down 1.
With a one-time attempt and that last power play attempt by Edmonton. And you look at the one by Draisaitl, just absolutely leans into it. For Nugent Hopkins puts it right where he is. Goes far side off the glass, off the mesh. And then here's McDavid, the last ditch effort. And that one just a little bit outside. It is football Sunday, Jeff. I think they both would have got 3 for each of those 2 one-time attempts. But that last one by McDavid, that had some pace on it. He's getting better at taking that one-time shot.
Cleanly won. Kopitar sees it pulled free by Draisaitl. Here's Puljujarvi. Draisaitl hammered. Puck extracted to Anderson, and now Drew Doughty. Already in his 14th year, if you can believe it. Scampering to center. Anderson had it dislodged, then regained, and a centering pass tipped just wide as Brown was busting hard to the net. Shot down, he saved. Koskinen rebound off the post. That is 3 pipes now for LA in this first period. Kempe the victim of Koskinen's iron buddy that time.
And that was good patience by Kempe too. He made a nice little move to bring it back out and try and jam it in just off the bar. From the same side as Arvidsson early in the game.
Less than a minute now to go in the opening frame. Quick contains a dump in, directing traffic. Doughty and Grundstrom harass. Sevier forces a turnover in front, and Fogle unable to bang it home. And the kind of plays, you saw it right there, why Colton Sevier continues to be elevated in Edmonton's lineup. Working hard again behind the net, disrupting Anderson's ability to get it out of the zone. Grundstrom tied up. Edmonton LA thought Edmonton might have been guilty of a hand pass there. Didn't get the call. Doesn't matter. Grundstrom is able to break it out. Too far for Kaliev, and here's Tyson Barrie turning it over at center. TJ Tynan, the reigning American Hockey League most valuable player from last season.
That was a nice little step in by Tynan right there to jump on that attempted pass from Barrie up the ice and goal.
Final 3 seconds taken away by Edler, and LA will have to settle for a 1-0 lead heading to the dressing room, and the Kings probably thinking they should have more.
Yeah, no question, Jack. They should possibly have more in this one with multiple posts in this first period. There's the one chance on the flyby. We've seen a couple like that for LA. Led to the 1 goal by Kupari, and right there the bar by Kempe goes through the legs and tries to flick it home past Koskinen and rings it off the iron once again.
Oilers, all 5 of their losses this year have come when they've trailed after the first period. They have not won a game under those circumstances, and they're down 1 after 20. David Amber, Justin Bourne with Hockey Central, as well as Arjeen Principe, joined by Jason Strudwick and Bob Stoffel.
This game day 50-50 in honor of Stollery Children's Hospital and the Foundation. And really, this is the time of year normally the Oilers are typically very active in the community with hospital visits, but of course due to COVID and various protocols that has been virtually impossible. However, we want to make sure that everybody remains and thinks about this as a priority, because it is something for us to ensure that we don't forget charities, we don't forget these kids, we do not forget the Stollery Children's Hospital Foundation. So that is a clear reminder to buy at EdmontonOilers.com as we continue to push forward the 50-50 and period number 2. Here's Louie and Jeff.
Gene, you couldn't be more bang on, and obviously you have kids, Louie and I have kids. We've all been to the Stollery. We've all experienced what a relief it is to know that our children are in that care, and for the most part, pretty efficient as well. In and out, and haven't gotten that quality care. So well said. Rasmus Kupari, the period's only goal in the opening 20, and LA a strong start, a 1-0 lead over Edmonton, and perhaps, Louis, the slimmest lead they could have expected to enjoy.
Yeah, you heard Jason struggle to back that point up as well with Bob Stoffel. They're lucky to only be down by 1 after that first. As a little bit different start here and a puck into the offensive zone. And I kind of agree as well. Start getting pucks in behind. And, you heard Evan Bouchard, a defenseman, say the same thing. Right now we're on our heels a little bit. We need to get things going forward and just put a puck in an area where you can go and fight for it to try and get it back and work in their zone for a little more time.
It's funny you said that. Bouchard, with about 2 minutes to go, lifted one behind the defense, and Louis, you kind of made an emphatic motion like, about time. And that was, of course, an off-air type of situation. But I noticed Bouchard a shot block, gets it right back, loads and fires, and that slid wide, caromed off the corner boards and all the way out to center, where it's handled by Darnell Nurse. Oilers went 4-2 without him, but again, he is a workhorse. The Oilers, night after night, a big physical hit on Arvidsson, trying to slow him down. Arvidsson, several good looks early in this hockey game.
He's taken a couple punishing hits in this game already. It was Tyler Benson in the first period, and Nurse finishes him there as well.
Well, you don't often take hits, Louis, in games where you're not around the puck. So, in some ways,
he's never been afraid to take a hit to make a play, that's for sure. He's not the biggest guy, but he's built like a fire hydrant. And you're right. A few years ago, he was a guy that people look to. Listen, if you're going to be an undersized guy in the league and play hard, this is the way you need to play. He was an example for a lot of guys, and his energy and just his second efforts.
Kopitar to Brown, stepping up was Nima line with a hard. The 18-year vet, Koskinen controlling a puck at his far post, and that's why they say Markus Niemelainen plays like no other defenseman in this organization right now.
Had 7 hits 2 nights ago in Seattle, and here's the big one by Darnell Nurse as he rides out Arvidsson into the boards, and then Niemelainen steps up, and listen, right here, look how high Dustin Brown gets into the air here. He lifted him right off of his skates, and Dustin Brown saw him coming, and he braced himself for that hit. But the big fin went right through him. He felt that one, though, no question, as that stick was pretty aggressive through, but always willing to step up.
Remember when Rocky caught Clubber Lang with the body shots and lifted him off the canvas in round 3
he also
of
did
Rocky
it to Apollo
3?
Creed in the first one, too, with a few good body shots.
Yeah, that's what I thought of when I saw that hit. Clubber get lifted off the canvas. Kopitar will kick it back. Dustin Brown leaves for Kempe. Wrist shot score, 2-0 Los Angeles.
He had no idea that puck went in the net. Attacking with speed once again. Kempe had a great chance through the legs in the first period. He was all around the net on that top line with Kopitar and Brown, and he just comes down with speed. This is the little transitional play, little back pass by Brown. And he picks up speed, and it looks like he's going to go to the middle and just decides to zip it. This is what happens when you come down and you get pucks on net. This one goes through Koski. He's not going to like that one at all, as he's facing this one square, but that's a heavy, hard shot, and credit Kempe with speed. Doesn't really tell that he's going to take that release and gives his team a 2-0 lead.
Right under the right armpit of Mikko Koskinen. Kempe's ninth from Dustin Brown at 1:42. So the Kings' goals tonight have come early in periods. Here's the lead pass. Arvidsson streaking in. I follow a shot denied by the blocker of Mikko Koskinen, who's been under fire. Give Doughty a second assist on the scoring play. And the Kings lead by a deuce. Edmonton, remember, has not lost back-to-back games this season. As part of that 16-6 start, they're 5-0 in games following a defeat. And that started last year, Louis, when the Oilers lost back-to-back games only once in the final 30 of the regular season.
It's been a real testament to the identity of the team, knowing that they have to come back after a loss and really ratchet things up and get going.
Here's Benson to Ryan McLeod. Speaking of getting going, east-west maneuver, and then a beautiful change of pace on Bjornfoot. Cuts behind, and then got tripped up. Crowd screaming for a call, and the backside official does indeed have it. Corey Sibrat.
This period brought to you by Glacier Fire, where Canada shines the brightest. Available at Canadian family-owned retailers, Ben Moss Jewelers, and Charm Diamond Centers.
And you know, Jack, this is the confidence we're seeing young Ryan McLeod start to possess in games. And right here, just a nice drive around. He gets taken down by Sean Dursey on the trip. Went for a little bit of a fly there as he gets upended in the second power play. Again, nothing in that first power play in the first period, but for Edmonton down by 2, this becomes even more vital with the man advantage.
subtly there, and they're going to drop this puck again. Did you notice how Tyler Benson resisted the urge to set a pick from McLeod behind the net? He might have been called for interference. Yep. He took a tough penalty against Pittsburgh, learning from his mistake there. He resisted. You could see him pull back.
A little more aware. Don't take that penalty. Make sure you're in the right spot. He does provide a little bit of pressure there to allow McLeod to punch through.
So now Draisaitl steps in against Kopitar, guided back to the point by Hyman. McDavid, Nugent Hopkins rounded out with Barrie, and now here's Draisaitl, backhander off the side of the net. After first being denied entry by Quick, it was there, and he just didn't hit the net. Now Alex Edler, draped all over Draisaitl, gets down low to protect that puck, eventually wrestled to the ice surface, crowd screaming for a goal, none forthcoming. Here's Barrie, being patient, allowing his players to get reestablished. Draisaitl, Barrie steps in, over to Nugent Hopkins, Barrie, looking for a lane, shooting tip, quick shot, save Quick, rebound backdoor, Quick lunging, kept it out, high and follow, hard off the window and out.
That was a terrific save by Jonathan Quick, who just stayed in that battle. A nice job by Tyson. Barrie faked the slapper and just a little wrister down into the danger zone with two players in front, a little bit of a double screen on Quick and a good second opportunity.
That lower core strength has not left him. As strong as anyone getting down low, and here's Adrian Kempe with the length of the ice clear for the Kings. Down to 50 seconds on this Oiler power play. Puljujarvi has come on for Hyman. Draisaitl off to McDavid, busting down the right-hand side. Anderson got a piece of him, then Doughty slowed him up, and now Kempe finally runs out. Yes, a Puljujarvi around the boards to Barrie. Here's McDavid, tried to go inside, broken up and clubbed down the ice by Philip Deneau. Koskinen will settle, and the Oilers will change it up on the power play.
Well, a couple great efforts to keep the play alive by Edmonton to maintain that possession, then take it to the net. That little pass attempt by McDavid just hits a skate, broken up and down the ice, but because of the effort on the aggressive forecheck by McDavid, it keeps it alive. That's what makes his power play so effective. And for Leon Draisaitl, after this faceoff, he kind of dusts himself off, gets lost, and watch this. He's got time on the backhand side, just flips it up against the side of the net instead of into it. And there's the wrister by Barrie through the double screen in front, and a couple hard whacks at it. And Jonathan Quick with an excellent save to deny into the corner and keep it a 2-goal lead for his team.
So LA an offensive zone draw, though they're still shorthanded for 10 seconds. Trevor Moore will take it. Both he and Kupari can play center. And Louis, we also saw real layering there on McDavid with 3 different guys going out. McLeod, east-west to Bouchard, and he'll tuck it behind the LA net, but Jersey's out of the box. One shot for Edmonton on the power play, and the Kings maintain their 2-0 lead. Nurse has his blue line defended well, off to Cassian, and McLeod gives it back to Cassian. Great shot, save made. Jonathan Quick. And again, he's been playing well this season. He only has 4 wins in his 12 starts, but that save percentage nearly 93 coming in. Kupari will dump it in. Just hasn't gotten the kind of run support that, say, for example, Mikko Koskinen has. Up until tonight, that is. Cassian will dump it behind the LA defense as the Oilers trying to get more pucks in and in on this undersized LA defense. Benson whiffed on it, pulled it to his forehand, couldn't get the shot away. And now it's Kaliev dumping it behind the Oiler defense. Broberg takes a pop. Doughty stepped up, held his own, shot Kaliev, and a save made from goaltender Mikko Koskinen. And that's the scouting report on Kaliev. He has not met a shot he doesn't like.
You saw how he released it there.
Dished out, open man Anderson. He'll scoot it over, one-timer Tynan, save Koskinen.
Through every challenge you face, we help you return and rebuild, because that's what it means to build confidence together.
And you know, Jack, you were talking about Mikko Koskinen, and that's the one thing that he has gotten this year is that run support. And he's made those huge saves in vital times in the game where he's allowed his team to kind of weather the storm. Couple good saves there. You saw the one on Iafallo right after the goal to make it 2-0. He closed the door on the short side. And now it's time to really dig in for Koskinen and give his team a chance to weather this storm and chip back in the game.
Koskinen 16 saves, but Kempe gets. Tonight's major part of the game brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Parts that make the difference. That's Napa know-how.
Well, it's the bar for Mikko Koskinen in this one. And for the LA Kings coming out, they rang 4 bars in that first period. There's 2. A second one for Arvidsson off the fly and a wicked shot that goes up over top. And then here's another one as Kempe tries to go through the legs, short side, and he can't beat the post. Sometimes you have to be lucky to be good. Sometimes you have to be good to be lucky. But for Mikko Koskinen, he's going to tap that bar and say thank you very much, because this could be a much different story in this second period than only 2-0.
Spilled in by Deneau. That might have been icing, but Koskinen came out to handle it, and now Iafallo working down low in the corner. A drive by Matt Roy sails wide, and now Koskinen will cover at the far post.
Through every challenge you face, we help you return and rebuild, because that's what it means to build confidence together.
Mikko Koskinen, 12-2 on the year. He's won all 3 of his starts lifetime against LA in this building. His only loss against the Kings came at the arena formerly known as Staples Center. Evan Bouchard breaks out off the draw with Puljujarvi and Hyman. And we've seen a change here from head coach Dave Tippett as McDavid's centering Puljujarvi and Hyman. We'll see if that maintains. Kempe works it behind the net for Andrei Kopitar. LA with a 2-goal lead, playing on the road, looking for their 3rd win in 13 games against the Western Conference team. A blast by Anderson, caught by Koskinen.
Yeah, nice job by Koskinen to weather that one. You had a little collision there between Doughty and Jesse Puljujarvi as he goes in for the big hit. And listen to this one after this collision. Drew Doughty chirping as he usually does. Whoa, big boy. And that's exactly what Puljujarvi is. He's just a menace on the forecheck. Doughty saw him coming, weathered that storm, put him down, and that's one thing about Drew Doughty. You know, he's a terrific defenseman, and he's certainly been one of the better defensemen in his career throughout the National Hockey League, but never been afraid to rough it up, do a little bit of John back and forth, and the physicality's been there as well.
I would not be surprised if in, let's say, 15 years, Doughty is on a panel somewhere. I've always enjoyed chatting with him. Very articulate. And you do not get the standard issue answer from Drew Doughty. He'll tell you what he's thinking.
He's got an opinion, that's for sure.
Here's Sean Durzi and LA offside.
And speaking of that opinion, you know, it had some words earlier this year as Tyler Benson and Anderson going after each other a little bit there. Durzi coming in, a little face wash with the glove.
Linesman in between,
but
separating.
Settling things down. But, you know, Drew Doughty, you know, obviously it's an Olympic year, and he's been on the last 2 Canadian Olympic teams, was asked about some of the early projections, and listen, he's going to stick up for himself, and I'll tell you this, and you and I were talking about it before the game. He's on my team, Canada, and I'll tell you why, because of what we just talked about. In the fabric of the game, he'll play any position on that right side in defense, either your first one or your third pair, and he's going to have an impact in the game, because the bigger the games, the bigger Drew Doughty is.
Well, he's won 3 gold medals for Canada, 2 in the Olympics and once at a World Cup. And
couple Stanley Cups as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about decorated Canadian defensemen, there's a good place to start. Alex Pietrangelo, absolutely, but Drew Doughty should be in a very short conversation as well. Bjornfot will dump it in. The LA Kings with a 2-goal lead on the road against Edmonton. Kings have been streaky this year. They've been cold lately. A shot and a save on Deneau by Mikko Koskinen.
All dreams start at home. Chase yours in a customized plan by Coventry Homes, the preferred builder of the Edmonton Oilers.
Koskinen ready as Draisaitl takes the face-off against Deneau. Won it, and Barry will send it up. So Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins sliding over to the wing, and Tyler Yamamoto reunited. So a change has been made here by Dave Tippett, and a drive for the point. He's seen enough. LA's out shooting Edmonton 22-10 for the game, 9-4 in this period. Centering pass out to Roy, a shot smothered by Mikko Koskinen, who collects his 21st stop.
And he's been under some pressure throughout this second period. Once again, the Kings give him credit. They continue to push forward. They're not sitting back on the 2-goal lead. They're looking for more. That pass just missed a no from Arvidsson on the one-time attempt. He was right in the wheelhouse, and he just couldn't finish that off. But it's the second wave that comes in and gets another opportunity that Koskinen has to swallow up, and another face-off in the defensive zone.
Just one win in their last 8 games for the LA Kings, and it came at the expense of the COVID-ridden Ottawa Senators. Sent in deep. Once again off the draw. Fogle awaits as Ryan carries it up. Sevier and Fogle remain together, and it's Fogle in on the forecheck. This is the time of game where Dave Tippett would love his third line to step up and start changing the flow a bit. Ryan to Sevier, saucered out. Chris Russell thought about a shot, now lets a wrister fly, knocked down by Ryan, went off the heel of Sevier's stick, and now Bjornfoot looks to clear for Kapari. Rolling puck, Russell held sway to Ryan. Now Warren Fogle from the corner. Russell, wide open Broberg, slap shot blocked. Eating that one was Elias Anderson, and he's drawn a penalty. I think Broberg took him down and is going to get the call here. Delayed penalty. Quick will leisurely skate off, and LA will go 6-on-5 for the time being. Dursey up the gut for Anze Kopitar. Bjornfoot with McDavid bearing down on him. Cross ice, Kopitar stays onside. Flicks it over. Brown a shot to save Koskinen. Rebound steered to the corner. McDavid will touch up.
Yeah, a little gathering in the corner as Bjornfoot with a little extra push on McDavid. I think he was weathering and ready for it to get the stoppage. Here's the penalty here. This blast by Broberg. He just kind of tries to pile drive it through Anderson, and as he blocks that, the stick goes into the skate, takes him down in the process. He was going to be off to the races, and you know that's one of those things for a young defense. When you wind up, you take that slap shot, it's got to get through that guy that's trying to block it. Good block by Anderson, draws the call afterwards, and first power play for the Los Angeles Kings.
Yeah, you don't want to be a shin pad assassin.
Yeah,
you got to get it through.
And that's just one of those things you learn on the fly. The guys in this league here, they're going to do everything in their power to prevent you from getting that shot through. And right there, short side, carry him off the wall, put it into the danger zone. Those are all things that a young Philip Broberg, I think, will learn on the fly. He showed a lot of promise and has really stepped up in the absence of some key defensemen on the left side especially.
Victor Arvidsson on the power play against Darnell Nurse. First power play of the night for the Kings, who were just 2 for 26 on the road this season with a man advantage. Doughty sent around the boards by Kallio. Kopitar. His center pass is broken up, and now Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, Nurse, and Bouchard jump up. Nurse driving to net, shoots and scores! It's his first of the year! And the crowd of 17,000 plus welcomes the man they call Doc back to Rogers.
Do you think he's a little fired up going by the bench? Just a great activation by Darnell Nurse, too. And it was a beautiful little play by Zach Hyman on the wall. Good defending right here. Puck up, goes up to Hyman. No looker backhand pass to Nugent-Hopkins. And then watch this little backhand right onto the tape with speed. And for Nurse, that little hesitation gets Jonathan Quick to bite, go down early. Watch this. Wait. Now he's down. Elevation up over top of the shoulder. Beautiful shot to make it a one-goal game shorthanded.
First career shorthanded goal as well for Darnell Nurse, and obviously marked that one down. Is it the turning point of this game? Up until then, LA had outshot Edmonton 24-10, but the Oilers pick up their 4th shorty of the year, and now the Kings will try to respond on a power play that still has a minute to go. TJ Tynan over the line, shovels it down low to Iafallo, or will that be the moment where LA loses the grip on this game? Iafallo, Tynan, and cleared by Derek Ryan back to center. checking. They actually had 4 coming in, Louis. Is that 5?
That's 5 shorthanded goals against for Los Angeles. You're right, Jack. And you know what? So that's something they'll know in the scouting report. This team might stand up a little aggressively. You saw how quick Darnell Nurse activated to get up on that rush.
So 5 shorthanded goals against for LA, 4 shorthanded goals for the Edmonton Oilers. And here's Adrian Kempe. Into the zone, kicks it out for Doughty. A blast, and that rocketed up on the glass. Was elevated as such, and now here comes Ryan McLeod. Streaking in as Edmonton comes back to full strength. What a move, and he pulls a backhander just wide. An electrifying play by Ryan McLeod. And we noticed his feet were moving early tonight. With Puljujarvi and Yamamoto right now. A shorthanded goal has certainly changed the mood in this building. Puljujarvi will send it around the boards. LA still on top 2-1. Here's a drive from the point, redirected in front, finally squirts free, and right to LA's Dustin Brown. Kempe could not get it out. Nurse over to Bouchard, a blast, and that stayed out. Kempe jabbed it past Nurse and out to center. Nugent Hopkins and Hyman with elbows. One-timer, toe save made by Quick, and then Draisaitl couldn't find the range from a tough angle. But Puljujarvi got great wood on that, and the long stretch from Jonathan Quick. We've got a hockey game now. Edmonton has gained a foothold, if not a tie. Not for now. Draisaitl, McDavid and Puljujarvi reunited. Here's Draisaitl, cross ice. Niemelainen had it bumped away, and the crowd very much in this game. McDavid cut off initially. Puljujarvi feeds the point. Niemelainen whistles it around the boards, ushered on to Barrie. Absorbs a hit from Iafallo, and the puck pops loose for Brown, right on the tape of Deneau. Staying onside was Matt Roy, and Deneau dumped in his tracks by Yamamoto. Scooped up and cleared by Niemelainen to Draisaitl, and he'll allow the play to develop. Gathering himself, allowing a change in personnel, and finally off to Yamamoto. Slithers one through to Nugent Hopkins. Draisaitl will now change, and Matt Roy back on the puck. Laid it off glass, and down the left wing, here comes Trevor Moore. Puts the brakes on. So Nugent Hopkins back in the middle right now with Hyman and Yamamoto. Philip Broberg brings it as far as center. Lofted in by Nugent Hopkins off the glove of Bjornfoot. Took some punishing hit from Hyman. And that'll lead to an icing call. And this crowd is very much alive. With that first goal of the game by Darnell Nurse, Save On Foods has given away their first prize. And Darnell Nurse saying hello to his kid before the game, and well, he had a pretty good view of that goal and also that attempt from Puljujarvi.
Yeah, that was a blast and a great extension again by Jonathan Quick to get back across there and make that save. You can feel the urgency and effort stepping up for Edmonton.
Nurse off the draw, trying to wrap around, and quick to smother that. 6:05 to go in the second period. Darnell Nurse back in the lineup for the first time since November the 18th. He's pumped.
Edmonton Oil Kings taking on Moose Jaw 14th annual teddy bear toss, and there's the goal. Graydon Goddess, his Oil Kings debut. Kid from Camrose scores it at 13:47 of the first, 7-4 the final score. Final score with teddy bears, 12,409. All of them, and the proceeds going to Santa's Anonymous, to a couple of teddy bears upstairs who I could never throw on the ice.
Yeah, Gene was really enjoying the Duplo medical supplies that he had.
Yep.
That was straight out of the Fisher-Price collection. Those look vintage. Not sure a Gene Principe, let's say in 1969, wasn't playing with that set. Here's Adrian Kempe, and that's offside.
You know, for Darnell Nurse coming off that injury, it was a hand injury, and he hasn't looked any worse for wear in his first game back. Obviously scored a beautiful goal, and then the stick handling ability. Anytime you suffer a hand injury, it's always about the mobility, but you and I saw him skating a couple of times here as we went and got tested on a couple different occasions, and he was putting the work in. You knew exactly he was going to be ready to go. Probably in better shape now than he was at the start of the season. Talking about Drew Doughty for Team Canada, this guy right here, is on my Team Canada as well, too, on the left-hand side. He does a little bit of everything, and as I said before, he's that guy that can play up and down on that left side. Wherever you put him, he's going to be effective.
We were talking before the game, Louis. According to my records, you've got 13 guys on defense for Team Canada.
I love them all.
Here's Doughty looking for Philip Deneau. He'll chip and jar.
We're going to do our list. We're going to have a little battle royal. U.S., Canada, we'll both do them, and we'll do each and compare.
Cassian and Niemelainen driven in. Arvidsson. Oh, you could do a second team. Here's
Same for the
Niemelainen.
U.S., I think, too.
Cassian on his backhand. Gives it up. Barry. Niemelainen. And that knuckle puck right into the chest of Jonathan Quick. And now Durzi engaged. And once again, that's Tyler Benson in or around the net, trying to make a name for himself on that fourth line. The Edmonton Oilers have crawled within 2-1. Still need a tie. Look at that city.
Tremendous memories here. Like it was an unreal place to coach and live and be part of the community. I'll say that until the day they bury me.
Yeah, it was quite a run for Todd McClellan as head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Saskatchewan native, grew up watching the Oilers and then ended up being the head coach. And he said one of the things he misses are the faces. When you come back to a building in a city you were familiar with, is those faces that we used to see on a day-to-day basis you don't see anymore, including you two. He said hello to you guys this morning in preparation for tonight's game.
Well, you know, he was always great to us, that's for sure. And, you know, we have nothing but good things to say about Todd McClellan. Listen, it didn't work out here for him in the end, but in 2017, they did get to that second round, beating his old San Jose Sharks, lost to the Anaheim Ducks. But, you know, one of the good guys, always gave us time, would always give us information and help us out with our research, that's for sure. Good conversation. Just a guy that loves to talk hockey.
And he ended a 10-year drought, Louis. He got the Oilers back in the postseason. He put them in position to get into position, to become the kind of club they are right now. Here's Zach Hyman. In hard for the left-hand side, tries to jam it short side, save Quick, rebound sitting there, and McDavid couldn't put it in. Quick really protecting that short side, and again, holding sway in that lower half. Dustin Brown takes an outlet. It's the Edmonton line, wrapped up with Nurse, and now we've got a penalty, and who's this on?
Might be Edmonton, I think, but Darnell Nurse is holding his head, so maybe it's on the Los Angeles Kings.
Brown had him hogtied.
That's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be the Kings. They both got tangled up, and I thought, obviously, the offensive player coming through. But here's the chance right before this is the Oilers going to go back in the power play again. Great drive to the blue paint by Zach Hyman. We've seen that so many times. And then McDavid doesn't miss by much on that short side. And here it is. Here is, looks like they're both going to go in there. So, okay, well, they both kind of got involved. So I had it half right, I guess. Fans didn't like it here at Rogers Place with the booing afterwards. And as we mentioned before, for Dustin Brown, he's always in the thick of things. And Darnell Nurse isn't going to back down from anybody. So you knew they're going to have a few collisions in this game tonight.
Well, this guy, I mean, he's led the league in hits on a number of occasions. And you know what?
Some borderline.
Yeah.
No, but that's the way he's played his whole career.
And you know what, Louis, about 8 years ago, everyone thought he was done. He
really
resurrected his career, didn't he?
In incredible fashion. But it's that hard-nosed game, right? You can always rely back on that, go back to work, go back to that punishing hitting style, and start scoring goals again.
Off the draw, Koskinen able to catch one cleanly. And, you know, the last two full seasons that have been played in the NHL, Dustin Brown put up a 22 and a 28-goal season. He still can score. Now you've got Deneau trying to score for LA. In a 4-on-4 scenario, Deneau beaten off the draw by Draisaitl. He's out there with McDavid, Bouchard, and Russell. Opportunity for Edmonton to get this game tied before the end of the period. Trailing 2-0 at one point. Here's Draisaitl. Burst to speed in the corner. Remember, Edmonton has not won a game all year when they've trailed after one. They're 0-5. Bouchard, right-hand side. Draisaitl to the middle. Bjornfot in a fierce battle with McDavid. McDavid eventually won possession, but when he flicked it backward, Bouchard has to come all the way to the length of the ice, and that'll chase McDavid and Draisaitl off. So from LA's point of view, mission accomplished.
Timing a little off on a couple of those plays.
Nugent Hopkins sliding in. Tried to button hook, fell down. Popped right back up and kept it alive. For Zach Hyman. Spin move on Jersey. Takes it hard to the hole. On about getting a wrist shot on net. Maintains on his backhand. Continues to weave. And then put one short side out of play.
Winter in Jasper. Venture beyond.
Here and I are kind of chuckling a little bit there on this chance by Zach Hyman, but I got to tell you, he's got to be a nightmare when you see him with a puck on his stick for a defender. He's so hard to get that puck off, and that one deflected off the stick. I thought he put that up over top himself, but it was Jersey with a beautiful stick at the right time to deflect it over the glass.
Doughty off the draw. Jersey settles. Off the gut for Kopitar. McLeod and Fogle in this matchup with Kopitar and Adrian Kempe, who will take a return pass from Jersey. Not able to skate into it. Niemelainen broke it up. Kempe quickly regroups. 2:40 on the clock for Kopitar. Back to Drew Doughty, allowing Kempe to tag back onside. Could not slither his way past McLeod, who has played a pretty solid game tonight. Curious to see whether McLeod has something special in store later on. Hard hit on Jersey from Fogle. Now Jersey up the middle, off the blade of Kopitar. And the penalties to Nurse and Brown will expire. We're back to 5-on-5. Brown pops out of the box and slides it back in. Intercepted by Barrett. Tried to hit a cutting Draisaitl. That was intercepted in turn by Matt Roy. Hip check by Niemelainen and flattened more. And now you've got Draisaitl with puck possession. Yamamoto will stay onside as it's slugged deep into the LA zone. Came off the end boards, eventually to Roy. Slow to move it, but Moore was there with support. And he'll send it as far as the Edmonton blue line, where Nurse and Bouchard look to close out. Nurse now jumps up, maybe a 3-on-2 developing to Draisaitl left circle. It's not there. Looks for a teammate, hovering on his backhand, turns and spins it back to McDavid. Could not come out of the corner cleanly on Roy, and it's cleared safely ahead for Arvidsson for Los Angeles. He's bottled up by Nurse, though. Saucered across to Drew Doughty. Oilers have taken 6 of the game's last 7 shots on net, including the game-turning shorthanded goal. Edmonton, for the most part, has maintained momentum since. McLeod off the boards, but not out. Whacked toward the net, dropped by Kostin, and he's able to fall on it before Arvidsson can tuck it home.
That puck bobbled a little bit. You're right, not as much time spent in the defensive zone for Edmonton, especially after that shorthanded goal by Darnell Nurse. It just seemed to get him going in the right direction, and that urgency is there. A lot more possession time for them in the O-zone and just stopping things in their tracks. You saw that great play there on Tynan by Darnell Nurse. Just an excellent control and gap to be at the right place at the right time. Good stick on the defensive blue line, punches it right back out of the zone. That makes everybody regroup, come back, and have to set back up again. Good defensive play.
Minute to go on the period. Tynan beaten off the face-off by Ryan McLeod. Lob down by Niemelainen. Is this going to be icing? No. Cassian's speed negated. Here's Benson. Off to McLeod. And again, the fourth line getting a shift this late in the period. A sign that Dave Tippett recognizes there's something may be brewing with this unit. Russell tried to boot it down low. Taken away by Grundstrom. Tynan is able to poke it behind McLeod. But he's easily able to pick it up and send it out for Benson. Cross ice. That hopped over the stick of Cassian. Hit the on-rushing McLeod. Dangling. Pulling up. Looking for a teammate. One-timer from long range, and Quick with a clean look at it makes the save.
Yeah, a little late getting there as Jonathan Quick was able to swallow that one up, but a good entry. And here's the first drive, little button hook by McLeod, little drop pass, and the quick little wrister by Bouchard, who just jumped on the ice there to look to try and get it through. And I think for Tyler Benson, he thought it was going to come down low to him. He was looking for a give-and-go situation. And Jonathan Quick's able to swallow that one up, but good transitional play out of the zone.
Final 18 seconds. Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Nurse, Bouchard. Kopitar beaten off the draw. McDavid to Nurse. A shot. And that stayed out. Quick didn't quite know where it ended up.
He didn't know at all where it was, and that was a little knuckler on edge by Darnell Nurse. And you'll see this puck gets up on edge. It is right when McDavid throws it back, and it is as it comes through, and he just misses that one with the glove. So this one gets through him. You watch this boom off the glove, off the helmet, and finds itself into the corner, and he was looking around to see where that puck went.
That was the Canseco. Remember when it went off his head and went over the fence?
Would have knocked about 95% of the rest of the planet out.
Here's Draisaitl. Poked away from Bouchard. Final 2 seconds. Kempe at the horn. Can't get the shot away. LA has to settle for a 2-1 lead after 40.
Better push by Edmonton in this second period, make it a 1-goal game on Darnell Nurse's shorthanded goal, and they started to dictate play after that, and will look to carry it over into the third.
Absolutely. From that point forward, kind of a different game. We thought it at the time. David and Justin standing by with Hockey Central later on. Gene, Jason, Bob, at Rogers. We got a good one.
Stream the episode now on Sportsnet.ca, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Louis and Jack.
Thank you, Gene. Well, last weekend, Louis, the Oilers won a game where neither Draisaitl nor McDavid found the score sheet. It was a rarity. How have the LA Kings been doing it against Connor McDavid in particular tonight?
They've been doing a pretty sound job, and listen, every opposing team has numbers circled on that board in the morning skate to say, we got to watch out for this guy. 97 will forever be circled, and there's the penalty on Edler, and that's one of the things. When you're going to play physical against McDavid, you want to try and stay into the box. Dustin Brown with a sneaky grab on the jersey, but anytime he's on the ice, there's extra attention. Every chance you can get, a little bump on him, get in his way. Bjornfot does a nice job there to defend him there nicely. He puts that one out of the zone. It was pretty frustrated coming off the ice. But as we've seen so often, Jack, when you ratchet up the physicality and the effort against Connor McDavid, he turns around and says, okay, you can play like that for a while, but can you do it every time I'm on the ice? Because he has another level that he can usually get to on a regular basis, and I expect that in this third.
And can you do it for 60 minutes? Is Draisaitl broken up with Connor McDavid right now? He's centering a line with Hyman and Puljujarvi. McDavid is as we begin the third. The LA Kings this year, when leading after 2 periods, only 6 wins against 5 defeats. They've lost 5 times when leading after 2, and Edmonton 3 wins when trailing after 2. A clear by Alex Edler, and it's finally slashed out of the zone. So we've seen McDavid and Draisaitl go back and forth. On a line broken up tonight. Here's Hyman racing in, curling in front. Broken up by Drew Doughty, and now Draisaitl on the ice sends it back to Tyson Barrie. So in this alignment, Nugent Hopkins is on the wing. Fields a pass, Draisaitl, a shot, double deflection. Here's the Yamamoto backhander, and that was smothered by Kopitar. Then a rebound and a save made by Jonathan Quick. Draisaitl, shattered stick on the ice and ushered out by Kempe. Dustin Brown gets a new twig. Fired in by Niemelainen. Rattles around. Mikey Anderson couldn't do anything with it. Doughty will try. Brown guides it down the ice. This will be icing against Los Angeles. Barely a minute into this third period.
Very similar to 2 nights ago in Seattle. This is the start Edmonton had in that game as well, down by a couple of goals. And here's Zach Hyman with a great drive into the blue paint once again to put it out there. The top line, McDavid goes out there. They hem the Kings in the offensive zone, and the second line goes out and does exactly the same thing. You heard Jason Strebuk talk about it. This is how they have to play. Go to war, go to battle. It's not going to come easy. Be stingy defensively, but look for your opportunities the right way.
Did you see how low Quick got on that save on Yamamoto? Unbelievable. And you made a good point. Upstairs is open. Don't be afraid to shelf it. Here's Kempe. Launching inside the Oiler blue line. Of course, I suppose that's been the scouting report for the last 14 years.
He's been able to fend it off pretty well.
Yamamoto to Draisaitl. Centering pass, and that went off the pads. Out to Tyson Barrie. Nugent Hopkins. Draisaitl. One-timer Barrie, and that went off a body in front. Picked up by Kupari, who has a goal in this game for LA. Centering pass more off a stick. Trickles into the waiting arms of Mikko Koskinen.
The new Sports Select, now with single game bets and more ways to play at sportsselect.com.
Good pressure once again, good second effort. So this is a beautiful attempt by Draisaitl right into the front of the net for Yamamoto, and Bjornfoot was there to take that away, not let him get a clean stick on. Then Bjornfoot was the one that was on the receiving end of that blast by Barrie, and he was shaken up going to the bench.
Tie up off the draw, one-timer to save Koskinen against Matt Roy.
And you know, it's just energy, and we've talked about it a lot this year, Jack. Just, you know, shift after shift, following up that last line that was on the ice, trying to do better the next time you're on the ice, build that momentum throughout the game. And Edmonton early on in this third, they shown they're ready to roll, ready to work, and have created a couple great chances already.
Tynan bears down, wins the draw. Fogle lost his stick. Shot doesn't get through. Rebound doesn't get through. Trickle loose. What a tie-up on Grundstrom. What a play made by Colton Sevier, because that was a tap-in.
No question. And that's just what Dave Tippett and the coaching staff love about Colton Sevier. And I think Warren Fogle thought there should have been a penalty. His stick got blasted out of his hand right off the face-off, so he was without it. And watch this, right in the right position. That is a for sure goal, like you said, no question. Grundstrom was going to just jam this one into the net, and an excellent defensive move by Sevier allows Koskinen to get back. This was still moving towards the goal line. Almost goes in. If he's not there to get back, it's a goal, and Koskinen scrambles and makes the save.
Tynan, with 2 minutes gone by in the third period where both teams have had decent looks, and now the horn goes off. Are they double checking this one? I think this might be a double check. Make sure the puck didn't crawl over the line.
Always going to be sure. I was thinking it was on that chance by Grundstrom, but I don't think it went anywhere near the goal line, but that was a pretty quick little review.
So now, McDavid against Tynan. He's done almost everything in the American League you can do. This is 20th NHL game and his Kings debut, and that clearing attempt went off a glove and into the LA bench, patrolled by Todd McClellan, now in his 13th year as a head coach. Darnell Nurse, his first game back, has the only Oiler goal.
Welcome addition back into the lineup, and a beauty of a shorthanded goal, and I agree with Jason. That kind of turned the tide for the Edmonton Oilers. It got them going. That emotion that Nurse came back to the bench with fired everybody up, and they just carried that through for the latter half of the second period. They want to carry that into this third.
He had played 326 consecutive games before blocking that shot against Winnipeg. Here's Zach Hyman.
I mentioned he finished the game with that broken finger. Killed off a 4-on-3 in overtime. 31 minutes.
And again, I would not be surprised if he's up around that by night's end tonight, especially if this one finds its way into OT. Drew Doughty trying to ensure that won't happen. Ahead to Philip Deneau. Tried to get it to Iafallo, but Nurse, who's been everywhere, able to pick up, dance behind his own goal, and start up ice. A lot of time still to play. Chipping and charging. The shots, again, have been dramatically in favor of Edmonton ever since the shorthanded goal by Nurse. Barrie with an interception, and Niemelainen will snap it in. Quick tucks it to the corner for Edler. Ushered on to Dustin Brown. Waited too long. Had it snatched away by Ryan McLeod. Niemelainen to Barrie. Cassian punches just inside the blue line. Edler cross ice. Kapari. Little give and go. Return pass off the mark, and he's taken against the boards. Niemelainen shielded him from the puck, and it's Ryan McLeod. Snaps a pass over. Tyson Barrie is still trying to get a grip on his stick. Quick dish off to McLeod. And Cassian to get it indeed. Finishing hit by Tyler Benson. It continues to be effective. Jason Strudwick talked about that between frames, and he's bang on. Chris Russell sent it in. Draisaitl tried to keep it there. Really engaged with Edler. Those two have been going at it all night. Here's Matt Roy jumping up. Arvidsson loads and fired off the blocker of Koskinen. Rebound. Arvidsson can't get there. Now Draisaitl with some open ice, but it slid off the stick blade. Bjornfoot Draisaitl came in hard on Arvidsson. Did not disengage the puck, however, and Danault carries to center. Centering pass and a one-timer blasted high by Iafallo. Jersey. Danault trying to wiggle free, does so. Arvidsson. Angle to Bjornfoot. And now Arvidsson using a screen to shot, redirected dangerously wide by Iafallo, who scored a similar goal against Calgary last Thursday. 3 goals in his last 2 coming in. Nugent Hopkins skates away from pressure. We've played 5 minutes here in the third.
And you know, one of the things you said, Jack, that I really agree with is there is a lot of time. You're only down by 1 Edmonton, and they don't want to sacrifice their system. They have to make sure they're doing it the right way. Defend first. Lots of time to make up 1 goal for this team. But you have to do it the right way.
Downey plowed into by Sevier. Loose puck skitters out near the blue line, and now it's Kapari. Chipped ahead, out of the reach of Trevor Moore, and it's Evan Bouchard who rags it around the Darnell Nurse. Wrapped up with Lias Anderson. Taken away. LA in possession now. Mikey Anderson. Down low to Lias. Nurse able to bust up that cycle. Loose on the half wall. 5 players in and around that puck, including Nurse. Years ago, this would have been a whistle. They're just letting seconds run off the clock. Crowd booting. And eventually the puck stripped out of there for Bouchard. Sent up the board, Sevier. Pulls up and coughed it up. Years ago on that snowy channel I used to get out of London, Ontario, you'd see a play like that whistled down after 3 seconds. Yeah. And it was 10 times a game.
Immediately whistled down. It's pretty hard to get a whistle down.
Yeah. Here's Barry. McDavid snapped it back to Barry from center. He'll shoot it around the boards. Arvidsson off to Roy. Big shot by Iafallo. Attempted clear. But Danault did not get it out. Puljujärvi to Barry. Niemelainen. Puljujärvi let it go through for Hyman. Spun off a check. At Puljujärvi for just a moment. Couldn't get it to him. Niemelainen to Barry. Down low, Connor McDavid breaks loose for a moment. Niemelainen. Barry. Shot. Disappeared into traffic. LA a chance to clear and one-handed out as far as center. Puljujärvi stops the rush. Shoveled in by Danault, and he takes a finishing hit from Niemelainen. Barry sets the table. Russell gives way to Leon Draisaitl. Barreling up the middle, takes it from Yamamoto. Poke checked away by Jersey. Kick back Russell. Wound around the boards. Bjornfoot after it, and now Nugent Hopkins. To Draisaitl, tucks it inside, no one home. Lias Anderson will chip and charge behind Broberg, but Russell scampers over to cut it off. Russell playing his offside tonight. Yamamoto will shoot it in. Doughty left it for Anderson. Calmly up the gut, Dustin Brown. Heading to his right, sends a shot wide, and that's that opposite corner boards that can get you in trouble, but Anderson got back ahead of Yamamoto. Kopitar on the regroup. Dustin Brown will fire it in this time. Koskinen slowed the puck's momentum, but there's Kempe. Kopitar unable to break free. Tyler Benson, beautiful play off the wall to Ryan McLeod. This line has had some rhythm to it. Hasn't gotten on the score sheet as of yet. But we've got more than 11 minutes to play. Doughty up the right-hand side. And we told you already 5 times this year, this Kings club, no longer veteran-laden. There's still a veteran core, but the rest of the team's young, like Seattle the other night, trying to learn to finish these games off. The Kraken did so the other night. Can the Kings do the same? Bouchard off the middle for Cassie. Here's Benson. Bouchard fake the shot. Now slide, shoots, and just missed short side. Edmonton has a 6-game home winning streak on the line.
That's a slippery move by Bouchard to walk in and try and go short side high.
But it's only the first shot of the entire period for the Oilers. Kings have done a nice job to this point of immediate zone exits, making Edmonton go the full 200 without a sloppy turnover. Barry up the center, he'll wrist it down deep. Puljujärvi with McDavid and Hyman, they pour in, and that puck got off the skate of Hyman, climbed out of play. We've got 10 1/4 left in regulation. Rogers Place gleaming inside and out. There's a little snow shower for you.
Canucks and Leon Draisaitl going at it tonight. Here's a heavy hit by Edler. He holds onto the stick. Draisaitl doesn't like too much, roughs him up, and they continue to battle all the way onto the ice and back up again. No penalties, let him go. It was a slash by Draisaitl and Edler earlier in the game. And here's a great tip in the high slot by Iafallo, but doesn't miss by much. So dangerous. This is the move I was talking about. This is so smooth, silky by Evan Bouchard, and he tries to go short side and catches the shoulder of Quick.
McDavid off the draw, tried to tuck it out in the high slot, and it split defenders, Nurse and Bouchard. Lead pass, Puljujärvi. Gaining the line, Hyman, snapshot on net, guided into the corner by Jonathan Quick. Out to Bouchard, and he's unable to handle. Nurse controlling, seeing Edler now in a Kings jersey kind of reminds me of Robin Regeer. Remember all those years with Calgary and then coming to LA late to help lead a younger group with D-men at the time. And Drew Doughty was one of those guys.
Yep.
That had Robin Regeer to tutor him. Edler, 15 years in Vancouver. And in today's NHL, that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Absolutely. You have to double take the number 2.
Here's Arvidsson. Out, Iafallo. He's in to the net. Unable to curl it home, as a very late reach from Barry might have bothered him. Iafallo able to maintain. Quick shot to no. Couldn't get it through. Arvidsson hugging the half wall. Iafallo threw it across to Roy. His shot elevated up and out of play by Niemelainen with 8:54 to play in this hockey game. Mikko Koskinen, 28 saves, including this one on Iafallo.
Collision between Dustin Brown and Marcus Niemelainen again. Only his 3rd National Hockey League game. Steps up and airborne goes Dustin Brown back into the boards. If it wasn't for the boards there, I think he would have probably found the ice. But a heavy collision between two guys that don't mind throwing their weight around. That's back-to-back hit of the games for Niemelainen, and we expected that from him coming into the game, and that's the way he plays.
And if you're showing up on those clicks, there's a good chance you're going to stay in the lineup. Here's Philip Deneau. Working his way through Nugent Hopkins, out to the point. A drive sent wide by Edler, who just broke an 80-game drought with his 100th goal the other night in a loss to Calgary. Nugent Hopkins in over the line. Roy collapses on him along with Deneau. Puck kept alive. Draisaitl to Nugent Hopkins, and in front spun to the corner by goaltender Jonathan Quick. Just feel like a frenetic finish is ahead of us in this one. Tight game, hard hit again. Niemelainen buries Arvidsson, and he is taking some punishment tonight.
Eliminated him.
Draisaitl fires it in. Doughty flipped it across. And the Oilers just 3 shots in this 3rd period thus far. Here's Doughty in over the line. Kopitar's shot, one off by Koskinen. Who knows every save he makes is crucial. Did not afford to allow LA any kind of separation. Kopitar lost the handle. Nugent Hopkins off the cycle. Hard rim off glass. Kopitar settles for Mikey Anderson.
This is a Los Angeles team that's lost a lot of games as of late by 1 goal. 5 of their last 7, including 6, would be included with an empty net goal. So very tight checking, hard games, and they've been on the losing end of a lot of them, trying to hold on to this 1 goal lead.
The loss to Seattle was just Edmonton's 2nd against 7 wins. Nurse wide with a backhander. Meanwhile, LA has dropped 9 of 13 1-goal games. Still a straight no point. Here's Fogle, hard inside drive, save made, second chance, and Quick's got it. More frustration for Fogle. Gene Principe.
Hey, Jack, play the largest game day 50-50. When you buy your Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation 50-50 ticket, you help make oil country a better place. The pot is currently at $452,535. Buy now at EdmontonOilers.com.
And this is a real nice power move by Warren Fogle, who hasn't had a goal in the last 15, but this is what we saw a lot early in the season, and something I think the coaching staff wants him to get back to on a more regular basis, because when he takes that puck to the net, he's so big and strong. That was a really good chance created out of nothing from the corner. Just worked Dursey as a defenseman, drove it right into the front of the net, had two pretty good chops at it, but Jonathan Quick comes up with the save.
Inside 7 minutes to play. Here's Kempe, a quick shot to save made by Mikko Koskinen. Can LA hold the lead for 58 minutes tonight? That's the challenge against the league's third highest scoring team. Anderson, big hit on Kempe by Connor McDavid, and that's going to be a boarding penalty.
And you know, from our vantage point here, you could see that face go right into the glass, and he's leaking. He got shaken up on that one, no question about that. He's going to get up on his own two skates and head over to the bench for some repairs. And Kempe's had a pretty eventful game when you look at this one. Here's a chance earlier as this puck goes off the skate of Bouchard from a sharp angle. He's right there to pick it up and get a quick release up high, almost in the chest throat area of Mikko Koskinen. And here's Connor McDavid, just, you know, kind of catches him in the shoulder, but a little bit from behind. They're having a discussion whether or not Connor McDavid is going to be escorted out of this game, and it looks like he's going to be. Wow. This is going to be a 5-minute major, it looks like. I'm not sure I like that, but...
The play now is under review.
Well, they're going to review it.
Yeah, they're going to take a look at it to question whether or not this should be a...
You talk about a game changer here.
Actually, I see a different angle. He did hit him a little more in the numbers than I thought he did. I thought he caught the far edge of the shoulder, but on second take. Listen, Connor McDavid's the fastest guy in the league, so any kind of contact with him, there's no question that Kempe's back is turned to him. I think in his mind he's trying to take the right shoulder of Kempe, but he does dig in a little bit too in the center. This angle will show it here. And yeah, there's no question, that shoulder right in the numbers, and he did go face first into the glass. Bloodied on the play. Don't like to see it, but there's no question that's a hit they want to take out of the game.
Well, and if McDavid's taken out of the game, Louis, not only is it a 5-minute major, and the Kings are on the power play.
Best player out of the game.
Exactly, and the league's second leading scorer. I mean, it's a weapon suddenly out of your arsenal to get this game tied.
And here's the thing, things happen fast. How many times have you ever seen McDavid hit someone in the numbers? I mean, he was turning in the motion, but he
They're
caught
reviewing
him.
the play. Major in the game is counted for boarding. A 97 Edmonton.
Yeah. And, you know, I got to agree with this call. I do, only because of the nature of it and where he hits him in the numbers. And it's just above, right in the middle of the back, face first into the glass. He bloodied him on the play. So we come back. 5-minute major to Connor McDavid. He's out of the game. They've got some work to do. Edmonton down by 1.
No, in the hockey game, and Dave Tippett upset, and it's my guess, Louis, is it's an accumulation of a season's worth of what he considers missed calls on McDavid, and now he's ushered out of this game with the Oilers down 1.
Kind of boiled over, and Corey Severette is just standing at the center ice, just taking that monologue by Dave Tippett, and there's the hit again. And, you know, on first take when I saw this, I said, you know what, listen, this is what it was, aimed for the right shoulder. Read your lips. He's kind of saying anybody else, and
you want to keep reading his lips, Louis, or no?
Maybe not. We got to stop at a certain point there, but we don't see that from Dave Tippett too often. Obviously frustrated. His best players out of the game. Just took a 5-minute major for boarding, and they've got some work to do down by 1. So he boils over and states his case, but I do think they got the right call on that play, as unfortunate as it is, and Connor's not one of those players that runs around and hits people in the numbers. I mean, it happened real fast, but he was bloodied on the play, and now the Oilers have a big job on this penalty call.
Well, again, everything with Connor McDavid happens real fast.
Yeah.
Here's Ryan with a steal, and Seager barreling down the middle of the ice. Remember, Edmonton's only goal tonight. was a shorthanded goal, and the Kings have given up a league-high 5. Edmonton's got 4, so that has to be on Los Angeles' mind to some degree. But also, Louis, this can't be just a clock melter. You got to go after it if you're going to win these games. And here's a turnover, and it might be a breakaway for Sevier, but Kempe was able to reel him in. What an all-ice game he's played tonight. Nurse stands up on Arvidsson, who continues to take serious abuse out there. Doughty to Kopitar. 5-on-4 for the Kings for 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Drive Arvidsson, save Koskinen. Nurse, Ryan, Sevier, and Bouchard, the 4 out for Edmonton. Sevier a chance to clear, can't get it done. Doughty rolls it over. Kopitar. Doughty. One-timer. Kaliev, rebound, score. Adrian Kempe with his second of the night. And the Kings extend to a 3-1 lead.
And they're still going to have a lot of time on the clock, too, being a major penalty. But that was a great shot by Kaliev. And, you know, Todd McClellan talked about it. Every time he gets the puck, everybody's kind of wanting him to shoot it because he has a ripper. This is just good work along the wall to maintain possession. Kaliev on the one-timer, though. This is a blast, and it gets fended off with the right pad of Koskinen. But Kempe, the one that drew that 5-minute major to McDavid, paid the price for it. And he bangs that one home in front of the net. He's had some chances tonight, had a post in the first period, and he's just in the right spot, picks up the rebound and puts it home for a 2-goal lead for LA.
Kempe's second of the night, 10th of the year from Kaliev at 14:38 on the power play. Now, the Kings up 2. There's still 5 minutes to go. Iafallo sends it in, 3.5 of which will be an LA power play. Jersey regrouping. Doughty picks up his second assist of the night on the power play goal for Los Angeles. Iafallo hits the line. TJ Tynan behind the net. Taking a peek. Dustin Brown around the boards. Intercepted by Nugent Hopkins. He'll fling it behind the LA defense. Draisaitl out there, sharp angle. That was actually an attempt to bank it off quick. It wound up on the glass for Bouchard. Now Yamamoto trying to catch LA in a change. Dishes off. Draisaitl beats the front of the net. Intercepted. And because Edmonton has to take chances, here's a 2-on-1. Kaliev, reach shot. Fought off and held by Mikko Koskinen.
Adventure is waiting, and it's time to push the limits. Discover your adventure with Martin Motorsports. 2 locations in Edmonton.
Darnell Nurse logging some minutes in this game, his first one back after suffering that hand injury.
Boy, it's a minute 33 is all Edmonton has to, all Edmonton will have at full strength. I mean, if LA does not take a penalty here. That's a tough situation to deal with. Now, a miscommunication, would you believe it, between Quick and Doughty and the fellow 14-year man. I mean, that hasn't happened more than 3 times in their careers. Here's a centering pass up. Kopitar, one-timer score. Drew Doughty makes it 4-1, and the Kings have struck twice on this power play, and it's a 3-point night for Doughty.
Did he ever giddy up and get to that spot, too? You just talked about the mishap behind the net, and he's the one that scores the goal, and it's Andrei Kopitar just starts to get the Pistons going down the ice, dishes it wide, and what a beauty backhand pass right there. Just threads it through, goes right by the skate. I don't know if this was a no-looker. He obviously knew somebody was there. And for Drew Doughty, goes from behind the net all the way up the ice and bangs that one home for a 3-goal lead for the Los Angeles Kings. 2 power play goals on this 5-minuter. And still have 2:20 left on it.
Minute 25 apart. Jersey off to TJ Tynan. Deneau to Alex Iafallo. Back to Deneau. Rich shot off the crossbar. That's 5 pipes tonight for LA. Bouchard races over to try to pin Nurse. Give Arvidsson an assist on the last goal. Short side stuff attempt by Deneau was stopped. Zach Hyman hits Bouchard in the middle of the ice. Jammed it toward the net twice, but it was swallowed up by Iafallo. Reload for the Kings. Jersey Again, just his 5th career game. Whipped around the boards by Edler. Vogel unable to clear. Quick shot, score! Making 3 on the power play. Trevor Moore squeezes one through the pads of Mikko Koskinen. And LA has put this game away 5-1.
Yeah, and you look at it, they've only had power play goal in 3 of the last 11 games coming into this one tonight. It hasn't been a real bright spot. It's gotten real cold, but talk about scoring power play goals at the right time, a 5-minute major, and they've scored 3 goals on the power play in this one. Moore didn't even know it went in the net, just a quick release. That's when you know you get it away in a hurry. It's a nice little pass, backhand, tape to tape. And Moore buries it from the short side through Koskinen. 5-1 now for the Los Angeles Kings as this game has dramatically turned in this third period.
3 goals in 2 minutes, 19 seconds on the power play, Louis. Coming into the game, the Kings had 2 power play goals on the road all year. Quick shot blocked by Niemelainen. Elias Anderson, who picked up an assist on the last scoring play, watches Vogel clear length of the ice. Jersey, the 2nd assist on the 3rd of LA's power play goals that has put this one out of reach. Kings will dump it in. Centering pass tipped, and now Sevier clear ahead for Darnell Nurse, 2-on-2. Curled to Ryan, eaten up by Doughty. Kallio, Anderson, and Doughty. Drop past Kallio. Doughty whipped it across. Anderson. Drop off. Kallio fires that one-timer high and wide, and Doughty will take a skate back to center. So the Kings are going to lead this hockey game for 58 minutes. McLeod walks in, poke checked away. As the 5-minute major turns into 3 goals for LA, and a 2-1 game becomes 5-1 as we come up on a minute left. Anderson shot Roy, and a save made by Mikko Koskinen, whose numbers are going to be belied by the fact he actually played pretty well tonight. 3 power play goals are going to kind of change the script of how his numbers are going to look, but it's also somewhat deceptive. Trevor Moore carved it free for Anderson. And as we go inside a minute, of course, Edmonton's finally back at full strength. Benson and Niemelainen, but it's too late for that. And for the first time this season, Edmonton is going to taste defeat in back-to-back games. And its 6-game home winning streak will come to an end. Here's a steal by TJ Tynan. Drop pass, shot just over the net from Kallio. Rebound to Sevier, coughed it up. Kallio tried to put it in front. Grundstrom laid it back, and now Bjornfoot will play keep away here as we go down to 15 seconds. LA with just its 2nd win in the last 9. Crowd letting you know how they feel about the 5-minute major that turned the tide back in LA's favor. And Jonathan Quick closes it out. 21 saves. Adrian Kempe, 2 goals. And Drew Doughty, a 3-point night.
Yeah, tough one to give up late, and this one just feels like a kick in the gut for the Edmonton Oilers as they were pushing to try and tie it in a 1-goal game. 5-minute major, different story. Credit LA, they finished it off and made it count when it does count.
Play of the game brought to you by Rogers 5G, Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network.
Well, the play of the game, and this is what it was. It was the 5-minute major to Connor McDavid on the hit on Kempe. Dave Tippett was irate, and the 5-minute power play ensued, and the LA Kings went to work, and it was Kempe, the one that was on the receiving end of that hit, that scores the first of 3 power play goals to finish off the game 5-1. It was a tight battle all the way to that point, Jack, and that just kind of took the wind right out of the sails, and LA hangs on to win it.
Rogers Oilers Hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Rogers 5G, Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network. By Ford, the official automotive partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Ford built Ford proud. And by Molson Canadian, official partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Rep our home.
Now it's time for Molson Canadian 3 stars.
Drew Doughty with a goal and 2 assists tonight, 3rd star. Darnell Nurse in his first game back after missing 6. A goal, 5 shots, was on the ice for half the game. And Adrian Kempe, a couple goals, the game-winning goal as well. Your first star of the night.
The Edmonton Oilers beaten 5-1 at home by Los Angeles. Oilers next in action Tuesday against Minnesota.